Hi guys, welcome back to another Sunday Stitches and Stories. It is Sunday, which means we are going to sit down to review a book and knit a little bit because I need something to do with my hands when I knit. Um, the last project we were working on, was a cow. I had to undo it. I ran out of a eyelash yarn that I was using, and I thought I could get it at Hobby Lobby because it was Yarn Bee, which is a brand I use a lot, but Hobby Lobby had absolutely positively no eyelash yarn at all. And I don't remember the name of that yarn besides brand. So I have to undo that cowl I'm making for my niece and restart it because I have to take out that eyelash yarn. And so it's just going to be a blue cowl instead of having the fuzzies on it, which ultimately means it just won't shed and it won't be as soft, but it'll still look cute. So instead, I'm knitting another cowl. This one is technically for me. I just want to see how it works, and I'm using a cake for it. So the difference between a cake and a scheme is your regular thing of yarn that you buy in a store. And then they also come in cakes. These are cakes, okay? And I'm using Yarn Bee because Yarn Bee is my favorite. This one is the Sugar Will Sparkle because it has glitter in it, but I'm just using a regular Sugar Will, and it is in sunset colors. I've already done quite a bit on it. Okay, I upped our saturation, and brightness on here to try to help our camera issue. It is still grainy. In the words of my niece, it looks early 2000s, which it looks like a VHS, so fair. But we're not going to be able to fix that anytime soon, and I'm not going to record on my phone anymore. I know it has better quality, okay, and I'll still do shorts and stuff on it, but ultimately saving the videos on the phone takes up more space than on the computer. The computer just is able to save more, and I am able to upload quicker from my computer. So we're just going to do it this way. So today's book for you all is, you all should know, we talked about it. We didn't talk about it yet, but it is Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered. Okay, our little planner's filled out. As you can see, it had a little bit different rating than usual. And I gotta say, guys, all the people who give 1-star ratings, I'm not sure how they get them. Cause like, I use this grid to make sure that we're being fair, and the lowest I've rated anything is a 3, and most average is 4 stars. And that's like a 3, you have to have like 3 things, and 3. There's 6 categories. And so I feel like if you're giving something a 1 star, that either has to be a really bad book or you're purely rating it on enjoyment. Because I can't see, I don't know. I haven't ever read a book where everything sucked. Like enjoyment, writing, characters, plot, readability, setting. I've never read one where everything sucked. I read some where I'll never read them again, but that's just because they weren't my thing. Like last year I read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying a Vampire. Okay, horror is not my genre. It's not something I really like, but I'll read occasionally. And I read that one because of the fact that it was vampire based, and I like vampires. Um, I enjoyed the book, but there were scenes that were too descriptive for me in it. And even that one I didn't rate super low because it was really well written. And so, I don't know. If you're a 1-star reviewer, can you explain to me how you do your review system? Like, are you just rating on enjoyability or what are you rating it on, I guess? So today's book is Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Georgia Hardstark and Karen Kilgariff. I will, of course, link it below. It is a self-help and advice book. It is 304 pages long, nonfiction. Started it March 3rd, finished it March 5th, published in 2009. Themes are advice and womanhood. So this book, there we go. This book I picked up simply because it was part of a Goodreads challenge. So Goodreads has all these different challenges, right? But they don't just have the monthly challenges, they have other ones, and I'm trying to complete as many as possible this year because I want to get out of my comfort zone in reading. And so for this, it was Women's Heritage and Women's History Month. And so this one and another one, I picked up on it. Picked up Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered, and Untamed. I ended up liking Untamed better. But this one was okay. It just wasn't as good as I expected it to be. Um, it talks about how women are taught to be polite because politeness equals safety. If we are polite, we're not going to get murdered. So we are taught to be nice. We are taught to um, say yes, sir, no, sir, and just do what we're told, basically, because it's the best way to survive. It talks about having eating disorders and how they can affect your entire life. It talks about growing up in the 90s and 2000s. Um, it talks about Riot Girl. Riot Girl was from the 90s and how it's the expansion of feminism, and it was all about girls rebelling and girls being themselves. Feminists can be really, yes, feminists can be really mean towards other women. It has that concept, which I thought was great because not enough people talk about that. Okay, feminism in and of itself as an idea is it's a good concept, all right? The issue is that some people take feminism too far. And what we end up with is we either end up with women who are devaluing men, so now men can't are no longer basically considered equals because you are putting yourself above them in a sense, or you also end up with women who devalue women. Uh, for instance, they're the trend. It's not really a trend, I guess, but they call it's called the trad wife trend. Okay, trad wife stands for traditional wife. It's a domestic wife, someone who stays home, cooks, cleans, watches the babies. Um, you can see it on TikTok, and there will be feminists that come into their comments and they'll be like, you should have a job. You shouldn't be at home with your kids. You shouldn't be doing this. This is not just your work. You should be working with your husband. Whatever lifestyle a woman chooses to live is her life. And if she wants to be a traditional wife, she can be a traditional wife. I'm never going to be a traditional wife. Um, Even if I got married, I mean, I don't think I would be a traditional wife because I'm an author on the side and I'm gonna keep writing books, alright? This ain't gonna be no Sylvia Plath situation where she was an author and gave up her writing so she could be a trad wife and then ended up hating her life. And there was the whole oven situation that came out of that. But whatever white life a woman chooses to live is valid. It's her life. And so this talks about how feminists can even be mean towards women. Talks about breaking out of the routine of being friends over a shared hatred of another person because that's not really a friendship. We all have those friendships, all right? Specifically at work, we all have friendships that are literally just built on the fact that we don't like another person and we both don't. And those aren't good friendships, and we got to get out of that cycle because by doing that, you are empowering another woman to de-empower another woman. Okay? You are being toxic. Um, this has one of my favorite lines in it. I will tell you that, and I've been going back to this line a lot in my life lately. It's we are only experts in our own existences. So other people can't tell you how to live your life because no one else is living your life. And you can't tell other people how to live their life because you're not living their life. That doesn't mean you can't offer advice on things because we all go through different situations. And you might come across someone who's gone through the same situation as you. And offering that advice could be helpful. But we got to keep in mind that the only existence that we are experts in is our own. um, this is not a I'm not a podcast fan, but the book kind of made me want to give it a try because they talk about their podcast a lot in it, and I feel like the authors I picked up the audiobook of this and the authors read it. Okay? And so I feel like it was read as if it were from their podcast. It talks about anxiety life, sibling life. So much is literally covered in this book. What did you think of this book and what will you take away from it? I thought it was good. I like the idea of fucking politeness for the sake of safety and happiness. That was a quote from them, okay? What was the aim of the book and how well did the author fulfill it? I think the aim was to teach women that it's okay to live messy lives and to go against the grain. And honestly, I think they fulfilled it okay. It wasn't that badly done. It just seemed a little too put together. If that makes sense. Like I would be in like chapter 3 or 4 and it'd be like see chapter so and so, which is later on in the book. I wasn't gonna go see chapter so and so, I was listening to the audiobook, so I just read it straight through, and so you can still understand it reading it straight through. I just think that if they were gonna say that, maybe they should have brought up the concepts in the book in that chapter instead of being like see this chapter. But they also mentioned several times that writing a book is not easy. They thought it would be, they say. But they went into it and they're like, oh, this is going to be easy. We're going to do this. And then they're like, oh, turns out writing a book is not easy. And as an author, I found that great to hear because a lot of people in your life will be like, oh, you write books? Well, that's easy. I mean, all you do is tell stories. All you do is think of a lie and write it on paper, but that's not how you do it. You have to think about sentence structure, you have to think about language use, you have to think about imagery, you have to think about character development and plot, and a lot goes into the creation of a story, and so it's not easy. It's actually like it's like making the puzzle one piece at a time. Instead of getting the box with the pieces, you are legit cutting out each piece yourself, one at a time, and piecing them together. And then painting on your picture and everything. Would you recommend this book for others? Who's the audience? I say yes, but I would say 17 plus because of the language used in here. They use the F word quite a lot. And there are just concepts in here that if you are not gonna like buddy read this with your teenage daughter, then that she needs to be able to work them out on her own. So I'd say 17 plus for this. Nothing really explicit, just I mean like buddy reading with a 16 or 15-year-old might be a good idea, okay? But reading on their own, I would say 17 plus. Don't give this to a middle schooler or elementary kid and be just like, hey, here, read this because it talks about a lot of different stuff, okay? And so ultimately, this got a 4 star because I had to round down to 4 because it was like a 4.3 if I remember correctly. I gave characters 5 because it's a self-help nonfiction, which means the characters are the authors and you can't really judge characterization based on that. If Tara smacks you in the face, it's your fault. However, at the same time, Taro deserves this because he does it with Spook all the time. I have extra cats here because my sister and her family are on vacation, so I have their little kittens, and their girl cat is chasing Taro's tail, and I don't know if he's provoking her on purpose or not, but she's doing the same thing to him that he does all the time to Spook, and so it's kind of funny. But anyway, so yeah, so characters got 5 because you can't really take off stars for a real person's life. I mean, could you imagine going to a Walmart and you see like a Karen in line and you're like, 1 star, 1 star, you're a 1 star human. Maybe we should do that, guys. Maybe that would stop things. Ducky, don't hiss at him. You started this. My goodness. Ducky is their girl cat's name. Spidey is their boy cat's. Um, Writing, I gave it 3 because you can tell that they're not like super skilled in writing, but it is put together and it does flow, and so it's just those weird see chapter this, see chapter that. It almost that makes it seem more like a textbook instead of a fun book. And I mean, I know it's self-help and nonfiction, but even those can be fun to read. So I gave it a 3 in writing. Enjoyment, I gave 4 because it was okay. It wasn't the best I've read, but it also wasn't like just dull. And I obviously am gonna remember it because um I referenced the we are only experts in our own existence and therapy the other day. So 4. Setting 5 because I don't know what to do for setting on this. There was no real setting. It was a person talking to you about life. So I guess if life's the setting, 5? I'm not gonna be like, yeah, life, you're 4 stars. Goddess of Life might get mad at me. Readability was 5. It was easy to read, okay? Plot, I gave 3 because of the whole jumping thing, like jump from this chapter to this chapter. Because I really think that could have been done out better, and that is involved in the plot, like how they plotted it out. The girl keeps picking a fight that she doesn't want to do. Um, so ultimately, 4 out of 5 stars is what we're sitting at. And then our next book that we are going to review is, we're going to go backwards because I finished that one book that I told you that I had been working on for months. I just picked up the Kindle and read it the other day. So our next book is actually going to be Spirit Called, book 1 of the Wild Heart series by Erin Havens. And so yeah, we'll week to read that if you want to read and chat about it. It's a shifter romance, so if you're interested, go pick it up because I'd love to hear your thoughts, and you can comment down below what you think. And so that's how that's going. Yeah. So anyway, that was great, right? If you're on Goodreads and you're doing the challenges, what are you reading for the Centennial Challenge, guys? Like, I thought the Heritage picks this month was hard, but that one turned out to be pretty easy. I mean, I picked it up, I read it. It was different. I wish I had read the novel that went with it first. We'll get to that one eventually. But it was still a good book. Um, but the Centennial picks are books that are bestsellers from the last 100 years. And I'd say over 75% of the books were ones that we here in America get assigned to read in high school. And so I had read already a really good chunk of them. Like, I read All Quiet on the Western Front, Diary of Anne Frank, um, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, House on Mango Street. There were so many I'd read. And then there were some from the early 2000s that I never want to read. Sorry, Hunger Game fans, but it's not something that I really want to read. It became popular during my younger siblings, like early teen years, and it wasn't a book series that I wanted to pick up, so I never picked it up. And now as an adult, I'm not interested in reading it. I've seen the movies, so I feel like I already know the plot. So I didn't pick that up. I'm gonna go with 1984 by George Orwell. I was debating between that one or The Princess Bride. I ended up not going with The Princess Bride because I liked the movie, and I don't know if the book is written like the way the movie is, where it's the grandpa reading the story to the kid, and I'm not here for that in the book. I like the movie, but I like the movie so much that it's nostalgic, and I don't think I want to read the book. So we're going with 1984 by George Orwell because it's been on my list of things that I've kind of wanted to read, but I don't really care. Like, you know how we all have those lists that are like, oh, I should read this book, like Pride and Prejudice or something, because it was such a popular book and people say it has such a good weight on even today's life. But then we end up pushing it off for more modern reads, and that's kind of where 1984 has been sitting. So I picked it up for the Centennial pick, and I will be reading that. And then there's another pick, and I have I haven't bought it yet, but I'm looking at reading Dial A for Aunties for that one because it's the same. It's kind of like Crazy Rich Asians, and I liked the Crazy Rich Asians movie. I always wanted to read the book, but I haven't picked it up yet. And it's just that movie itself gives me like summer vibes, and it's a summer reading pick is basically what it is. And so I think I'm gonna read Dial A for Aunties. But let me know below what books you're picking for your Goodreads challenges, because I'd love to hear them. Alright, and I will link below this book that we reviewed today, Stay Sexy, Don't Get Murdered. And I will link our next book, Spirit Called, okay? If you are on Instagram, our giveaway for a copy of Eden Estate is technically closed. I have not announced the winner yet, but it is technically closed. If you are in my Facebook readers group, which I will also link down below if you'd like to come join, our monthly book fairy post closes at the end of the month, and if you drop your wish list on it, you get entered in to win you get entered in for a chance to win one of 2 blind dates with a book. And these blind dates with a book are not my books. They are books that I've either reviewed or books I have not reviewed but are taking up shelf space. And this month's theme is summer, and so it's going to be awesome. And the authors for our blind date with a book this month are Rick Riordan and Anne Ambrosius. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Not telling you the books, but they come with 3 drinks and a journal and a ink pen and some shaky stickers that I found that were super cute. Okay, and so if you want entered into that giveaway, you have to go join the Facebook reader group, because that's the only place I'm doing the blind dates with the books. And they are open internationally. I know that our tariffs are getting kind of high, and it costs like $20 to send a book to Canada, and I don't even want to know how much it costs to send to the UK, but I'm not gonna let the tariffs get in the way of us having fun, okay? Our president needs to get put on a leash. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, and I also heard that Canada, you guys might be going on strike, your postal workers. So if someone from Canada wins, we will get it mailed out, and I will get you tracking information for sure, so you know it makes it there, or you know where it's at, okay? Because someone did message me, and they said, hey, I'm entering, but our postal service says that they might be going on strike. Ducky, give me back my yarn. Hey. And so go join those things, guys, because I mean, it can't beat a wish list where you can drop your wish list and people can gift you, and you can't beat entering into a giveaway. And I'm going to tell you guys here, I haven't told them on Facebook yet. Okay? So, shh. Unless they watch this, they won't know. Unless one of you blab. Y'all aren't snitches, right? Anyway, next month's blind date with a book theme is Summerween. I know! It's gonna be awesome. This month's was summer, just summer based, but next week's is Summerween based. I was thinking about doing rainbow because, Pride Month, but I'm rather attached to most of the Pride books I currently have. And technically, one of the books that are in this month's pick is also a Pride book. And so, I decided to just not do rainbow for that one. I might still throw some rainbow airheads in it just for the fun of it, because candy goes with Halloween, right? So we're going to do Summerween, and it's going to be horror, thriller, murder, mystery kind of books. And I've already got them picked out, but I'm not going to tell you the authors yet. And I will announce the authors on June 1st. Alright? So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday, and I hope you guys have a great week if I don't see you before then. I probably won't, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I should start doing our makeup and manuscripts series, but I just I I don't like talking about my own books, but I know I need to, because how else am I supposed to get them out in the world? But I prefer talking about other people's books on my own. It's like, I know what the book's about, I wrote it, but I can't tell you what it's about. Which makes no sense, but it does, because literature has many meanings for everyone. They used to tell us in English classes that there's no wrong answer, because you can interpret every book a different way. Everyone can. And so what I have meant for the book to mean does not necessarily mean that that's what it will mean to you. And so talking about my own books is hard. I also have a hard time of not putting spoilers in when I talk about my own books. It's awful. So, I need to get that started, but I don't know when it will be. So I hope you guys have a great Sunday, and thank you for being here, you beautiful souls. Just remember, you are all special in your own way, and I love each and every one of you. Bye, beautifuls.